Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ daily news television show, broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
Analytics company vidIQ has certified the Queer News Tonight YouTube channel as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. In 2025, our queer stories have reached 11 million streaming views, and Queer News Tonight has been the most watched LGBTQ news and lifestyle show in the world this year.
We are proud that Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ community. There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Tuesday, September 2nd. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we will tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ evening news show.
Hotspots Happening Out is one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, in the same model as PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
We want to inform and educate on the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture.
Our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience. Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 11,000 LGBTQ streaming stories. We present South Florida's major LGBTQ events, including Pride Fort Lauderdale, Stonewall Pride, and Pride Fete. Our nonprofit 501c3 magazine, events, television news talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leaders will sit at this table and share their voice as our anchors. Together, we host this show to support the LGBTQ community. Let's meet this evening's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor Bishop Durrell Watkins, the senior minister at Sunshine Cathedral, one of the most important LGBTQ churches in the world. He is an auxiliary bishop of the Global Justice Institute and the current president of the Divine Science Federation. Durrell, it's great to be at this table with you. Free Boys in the Band is set for Richardson Park on September 20th. Tell me what's happening out.
On Saturday, September 20th at 7 p.m., Wilton Manors will come alive with theater as POW in the Park presents its 3rd free production, The Boys in the Band, at Richardson Park. Produced by Ronnie Larson and supported by the City of Wilton Manors along with the Wharton Foundation, the event will be staged indoors at the park. Audiences will watch Mark Crowley's groundbreaking play unfold, telling the story of Michael, a New Yorker who invites his gay friends to a birthday party for Harold. What begins as laughter and celebration will turn into drama as sharp banter and a daring party game reveal hidden truths and long-buried secrets. Thanks to the generosity of sponsors, including a $100,000 launch gift from the Wharton Foundation and continued community support, this production will be free and open to all, offering residents and visitors a night of powerful, engaging theater. Plays of Wilton is a nonprofit company committed to the development and production of filmed and live LGBT entertainment. More details about the event are available on playsofwilton.com. There's 2 things about this being free and how it's free. One, I am super supportive of the democratization of the arts because they're sort of being taken over from the Kennedy Center on down. So anytime we can get more people involved in the arts, make it more available to people, we need that right now. And how this is available is because of financial support, because that's being cut, education to healthcare to the arts. And so we need the philanthropy and we need the democratization, and one makes the other possible. Now, having said that, this play is historic. I'm glad that this play in particular is going to be available for free. This was written in the 60s. I think it was first produced in 1968. So this is the pre-Stonewall gay world. And if you remember it, it brings back memories. And sometimes it's criticized because the people are unhappy, they're bitter, there's a lot of internalized homophobia, there's a lot of loneliness. Well, welcome to pre-Stonewall world where your existence was criminal. And this was actually groundbreaking that there are gay lives in front of you. They're not coded. I mean, Tennessee Williams gave you gay all the time, but you had to know the code. These are just fags at a party and just in your face with it. And some, like one guy wants to not be gay anymore. One guy's missing his ex-lover. Some straight guy crashes the party. It's just all kinds of crazy. But mostly there's just the gay people, this family of choice, telling their stories, living their lives. And in 1968, that was unheard of. So this is very historical. And if you haven't seen it, there's no reason not to see it now because it's free.
Ronnie Larson, anything he does, I admire. And him taking plays of Wilton from nothing and creating what he has over a short period of years. And this is just typical of something he would do to help our community. So
it's like an experience anytime that you go for a Ronnie Larson production. It's like it's interactive almost the way that the set is set up. Is this a one night? This is running all for the month of September, and this is just one spotlight free performance. Is that what this is? Or it's just a one night only
I don't
thing?
know, to be honest.
I think on the graphic it said summer. I'm assuming it's a number of shows, but I think this is a spotlight, community-free, kind of everyone gather on this date for a free production of it, because I think I saw the tickets online. But
for sure the 20th is free.
For sure the 20th is free, right.
Is on
yes,
the website.
Right. So make sure that everyone checks out the website. And on the 20th, we'll see you there. I will be there, especially because it's inside as well. Yes. Career News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the free Boys in the Band on September 20th. Let's welcome Gregg Shapiro, an inductee into the Chicago LGBT Hall of Fame. Gregg is an entertainment journalist whose celebrity interviews and reviews run in a variety of regional LGBTQ publications and websites. Gregg, it's always great to see you. Bears of South Florida to host Downton Abbey Farewell on September 14th. Tell me what's happening out.
The Bears of South Florida will gather for a special community celebration on Sunday, September 14th, as they host a private screening of the final Downton Abbey movie. The event will take place at 1 p.m. at AMC Coral Ridge, where an entire auditorium has been reserved exclusively for the group. Guests will be encouraged to arrive in full cosplay, adding a touch of fun and flair to the farewell screening. Following the movie, an after-party will be held at a location to be announced soon. Tickets have already sold out, though interested fans can still join the waiting list. As with all Bears of South Florida events, proceeds from the gathering will support local LGBTQ+ organizations, ensuring that the celebration not only honors the beloved saga, but also strengthens the community. The Bears of South Florida provides a safe and welcoming space for the bear community of South Florida to socialize and engage in fundraising activities. More details about the event can be found on bosfl.org. There really is so much to admire about everything the Bears of South Florida do, including now the organizing movie screenings. But is it just me, or is it taking Downton Abbey almost as long to time as it took the Dowager Countess to leave this mortal coil? Okay, we get it.
It does feel like it's been dropped and picked back up and dropped.
And I love all of it. And the first movie was really disappointing. The second one was a little better. This one without Maggie Smith, I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, like, she was the one-liner, and I wasn't asked to fill in for her. So I don't know how they're going to manage through
I'm actually shocked they did not reach out to you.
I know, so am I. I mean, I'm old enough.
Right, but when they have Downton Abbey watching the moon landing, I'm gonna be like, no, you said it's time. It's been time. Just let it go. It's over.
I will pick a movie theater full of people I love over like a night out at the bar any night, by the way.
Yeah, and I do love everything the Bears of South Florida do. They're a great organization, and I love the bear community anyway. And they're really, it seems like they've been it seems like they've been super active this summer.
Yes, very, very,
Yeah.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Bears of South Florida Downton Abbey Farewell on September 14th. Let's welcome back anchor Glen Weinzimer. He has been a South Florida advocate for over 30 years, raising awareness and more than $16 million for the HIV/AIDS community for 20 plus years. He is also a travel director and corporate events planner. Glen, it's always spicy to be at this table with you.
And it's always great to be with you.
The Joyride Riders are to pedal for HIV/AIDS awareness in Florida on November 21st to the 22nd. Tell me what's happening out.
Well, on November 21st and 22nd, like you said, cyclists from across Florida will take part in the Joyride, a 2-day journey from Orlando to St. Petersburg. The event will aim to raise awareness about HIV/AIDS while reminding communities of the urgent need for support as global funding for treatment and prevention faces significant cuts. Participants will ride not only to challenge themselves physically and mentally, but also to honor those living with HIV and AIDS and to stand with those affected worldwide. While treatments exist, access and affordability are now in jeopardy as programs like AMFAR, the Ryan White Foundation, and USAID face reductions. The ride will also serve as a symbol of hope and unity at a time when LGBTQ+ rights and public health initiatives remain under pressure in Florida. Registration for the event will be available at thejoyridefl.org. This is personal because it's an offshoot of the next generation of the Smart Ride.
Right.
And I think that, and I've talked to them about it, this year is more, I thought for a while, like, we didn't need the Smart Ride as much as we did years ago. There still was an education need, there's still funding issues, but we kind of everything, you could get your PrEP for free, you could get you taken care of. There was lots of agencies out there and there was a lot of funding. Right now, the way our state is being attacked by our governor, and then you take the national picture and the international picture and you say, okay, now what do we do? Because now we've got to highlight again the possibility that this disease can get out of control. And I think that people are by themselves feeling lost. I think the sense of community by bringing 500 or 700 people together shows the power and gives you the hope. And it's a collective message that you're not out there alone and you can be heard. And so I think that this year, more than the last several, maybe the last decade, this year is really important right now.
Beautifully said. I completely agree with every word you just said.
It's fantastic that the Smart Ride legacy just continues.
Yeah.
Right.
So, does it give you, it must give you a sense of pride to see this?
It does. I'm not ready to be back on the ride. It's still too early, but I think I'm going to end up going the week prior and helping them with the logistics and stuff leading up to the event. And then before they do their registration day or opening, I'll sneak back out of town. Because.
That's your event planning stuff.
That's my event planning
there
stuff.
That life-saving research and treatment, this is under threat at all, is unconscionable. It's absolutely horrendous and immoral. And this is one of the ways we can fight back, is with philanthropy, with our voice, with our presence, and with our vote. We got to do it all. And so please vote every time, and please support everything you can, because we need it all. This far, and let's see. Gosh, I seroconverted in 90, 91, like forever. I just never thought by this point I'd be worried the way I was worried decades ago about things. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's this. We have to fight back, and this is one of the ways.
Yeah, and to your point, I seroconverted it or found out in 1992. It's a
We're
community.
oldies, us.
I know. Look at us.
No.
Look, community is so important. Just with HIV and just in general, like this whole thing right now with the crosswalks being erased. Everything they're doing is trying to make us disappear and erase our history, just like they're doing to the African American community and others. And as a community, we need to be out there and be proud and stand up for what's right. Otherwise, we repeat what happened in the 30s in Germany. And it's not. They're headed that way.
I can't think of a better time right now for the Joyride. We need it. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Joyride for HIV/AIDS awareness in Florida on November 21st through the 22nd.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, Eric Restivo. Eric is a well-known DJ, cabaret singer, and host here in South Florida. Over the last 15 years, he has had DJ residencies in New York City, P-Town, and Los Angeles, and has performed off-Broadway and nationally. Eric can now be seen and heard hosting and singing weekly all over Wilton Drive, specifically Tropics Grill every Thursday in August, and Tap That Ash bi-weekly in August on Mondays. Eric, Island City Stage to premiere at the wedding through September 14th. Tell me, what's happening out?
I think I just want to hear you say tap that ash thing. Really fast. But Island City Stage will present the South Florida premiere of At the Wedding by Bryna Turner, opening the season with a mix of humor and heartbreak. The play will run through September 14th at Island City Stage's Wilton Manors Theater. Audiences will follow Carlo as she attends her ex-girlfriend's wedding to a man, plot twist, and finds herself navigating champagne toasts, painful memories, and life-changing choices. Each performance will begin with a complimentary champagne toast, setting the tone for an evening of both laughter and poignancy. The production will be co-produced by Sue Wilder and Russell Vance, with Scott Bennett sponsoring lights and sound, Trevor and Margie Fried supporting set design, and the DC Allen and Ken Flick No Gay Hate Fund at Our Fun Foundation sponsoring talent. Additional support will come from the Schubert Foundation, the Mayville Foundation, and the Broward Cultural Council. Island City Stage is a professional theater committed to sharing stories of universal interest, engaging diverse audiences with entertaining, challenging, and inspiring productions. For more details, and there are many, visit islandcitystage.org. Wow, I just talked myself into going to see this show, whether I'm taking myself out on a date night or my husband.
You're that compelling.
I was that compelling in it. No, there's something relatable when you read a synopsis of a show, or whether it's live theater or something you're going to watch on television, or even if it's just a Kindle synopsis of the next book that you read, when you say, oh, okay, this doesn't seem like it's some made up story. It seems like, oh God, that's my aunt, or something like that. So I was immediately hooked. I cannot wait to see it.
Well, my husband Rick Harlan said in his favorable review of At the Wedding in Out South Florida, quote, "Make certain to RSVP for this wedding."
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is doing it. During World War II, during the Depression, the arts were so important to help people stay, because otherwise despair will just wear you down. And so I think this is another one of those times in history where we need the arts, and our community is really lucky to have so much going on. So support the arts because they're supporting us.
And Island City Stage is another great theater like the plays of Wilton, right next door to each other, where they've explored for years the local talent and national talent that's out there, and they've done a great job of non-sexualizing at times the stories that are still relevant. Plays of Wilton gets a little bit out there, which I love.
Love them both.
Love them both. Go to both of them. But they have a little bit of a different approach to how they handle some of our stories. And both great theaters, and this is going to be an amazing show.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at the Island City Stage for the premiere of At the Wedding through September 14th.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Eric Restivo, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Labor Day weekend arrests at Pulse Memorial over rainbow chalk. Yes, you heard that correct. At least 4 protesters were arrested in Orlando for chalking messages on the former Pulse Memorial crosswalk have now been released without charges. Arrestees Sebastian Suarez, 29, Mary Jane East, 25, Donovan Short, 26, and Zane Aparicio, 39, were each booked last week by the Florida Highway Patrol for allegedly defacing a traffic device. However, on Monday, prosecutors quietly dropped the cases, leaving many to question why the arrests had even occurred in the first place. Talking to WESH2, Suarez said, quote, "To be threatened with something so extreme as a felony charge for protesting and showing love to your fellow human is just insane, in my opinion," end quote. The controversy began on August 21st when Florida officials repainted the rainbow crosswalk at West Esther and South Orange. The intersection had honored the 49 lives lost in the 2016 Pulse nightclub shooting, once the deadliest mass shooting in modern U.S. history. Protesters say they were simply trying to restore a memorial. That's it. Demonstrator Robbie Dodd told Click Orlando, quote, "My friends died here. That's it. This is their memorial. This is theirs," end quote. The rainbow design was removed under Trump administration orders to eliminate distractions from public streets. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy wrote in July, "Taxpayers expect their dollars to fund safe streets, not rainbow crosswalks," end quote. Yet an Orlando Sentinel analysis shows colorful crosswalks actually improve safety. Meanwhile, Governor Ron DeSantis insists they create hazards, echoing his broader campaign against LGBTQ visibility here in Florida. For the protesters, however, the fight is about memory, not politics. Suarez recalled, "We put some chalk down on the ground, and before I knew it, I was in the back of a squad car." Their lawyer argued water-soluble chalk hardly amounts to felony-level damage, and that was a point that the judge agreed with, which makes me extremely happy. I'm confused, and I don't relate the word protesters always to a negative connotation whatsoever. However, as I'm reading it, it's feeling negative just reading the words because of however they have painted this distraction to make it seem as if we're doing anything other than honoring the lives of our queer brothers and sisters who were lost at the Pulse Memorial. I'm confused as to why it's getting this negative tone to it. It doesn't make sense to me.
The weapons that cost 49 lives that day are not under scrutiny, but chalk is. Right. That tells the whole story. This is about erasure. This is about intimidation. This is about harassment. This is just completely anti-LGBTQ. Because, yeah, if you don't like it, wash it away. Like, this is why should anyone spend a minute in a police car for this? This is just harassment.
And what a ridiculous waste of time and money. Speaking of money, can Governor Distract Us tell us what happened to the money that his broodmare stole from her fake charity? Any answer to that? No,
okay. I'm not hearing any.
No answer. I have no answer for that. I did see something really quick before I move on, but there was, I don't know the amounts breakdown, but there was a breakdown that you said of money that it takes the city to come and, pay 5 to 6 employees to come and wash and stand around to wash the chalk off. It costs a lot more money to do that than to...
It's infuriating, to say the least, and I love the ones that have done rainbows around potholes and things that need to be fixed. Like, why don't you spend your time and your money and the 6 people that it took to wash that section, and the police that are there now watching the intersection so no one is painting it or chalking it. I mean, it's insane that this is a priority of the state when we have so many other issues in our state right now. So, but that's where they want to go. It's all about the destruction of the LGBT and erasure of our community and our history.
100%.
And shout out to Fort Lauderdale, the city commissioners meeting, because they are actually fighting it back actively. They are not going to just sit down and take the heat. So shout out to Fort Lauderdale.
I am concerned about the Rainbow Bridge. I know they say it's not going to affect it, but so did they say we're never going to see Don't Say Gay. And we also never thought we were going to ban books. He doesn't like the public visibility of the rainbow. And so whether it's on the crosswalk right now, that bridge is...
Except the bridge is not... The street is federal. It's state, but the bridge is not. So let's just go for now.
We'll see.
All right.
We will see. And I think, long story short, point of the story is that this was Pulse's memorial. Lives were lost, and we really, no one wants to erase
Queer
that.
lives. And that was a safe space, a sacred space, really, that was violated, lives lost. And if chalk is how we grieve and mourn that and remember, just fuck you for trying to take that away.
Right.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Bishop Durrell Watkins, and let's queer up faith. Pope Leo XIV signals continuity on LGBTQ plus welcome after meeting queer advocate. Pope Leo XIV met with LGBTQ plus Catholic advocate Father James Martin, who says queer members of the church will be encouraged by the new pontiff's stance. After Leo's election in May, controversy resurfaced over past comments in which he criticized entertainment media for showing sympathy for beliefs and practices that are at odds with the gospel, citing the homosexual lifestyle and alternative families comprised of same-sex partners and their adopted children. These remarks marked a clear difference from Pope Francis, who, while complicated in his relationship with queer people, moved the church toward more inclusion. But now, according to the Associated Press, Leo has told Father Martin he intends to carry forward his predecessor's outreach.
I heard the same message from Pope Leo that I heard from Pope Francis, which is the desire to welcome all people, including LGBTQ people. So I think it's a continuation of that kind of approach, that kind of pastoral approach. My sense from knowing him a little bit at the Synod is that he's a very open, welcoming, inclusive person, so I wasn't too worried. But it's wonderful to hear this continuation. There's a lot on his plate. Ukraine, Gaza, Myanmar, Sudan, places like that are high on his priority list. He wants to work for peace and unity, but he also wanted to remind people that this is a church for todos, todos, todos. If people were happy with Pope Francis's approach to LGBTQ Catholics, they're going to be happy with Pope Leo's approach.
Leo, the first U.S.-born pontiff, has affirmed Catholic doctrine that marriage is a union between a man and a woman, but also emphasized dignity and respect for all. From the unborn to the elderly, quote, from the sick to the unemployed, citizens and immigrants alike, end quote. While Francis condemned criminalization of homosexuality and said being gay was, quote, not a crime, end quote, he stopped short of supporting same-sex unions and at times used language that drew criticism. At this early stage, many queer Catholics will be watching closely to see whether Pope Leo's promise of welcome translates into lived change. I got a few things to say.
I was hoping so. I was like, you're the one that I want to know. Yeah.
Just a couple of thoughts around this. Because first of all, the gospel, I hate when they just throw words around and then you're like, that's supposed to end the thing. There is not one thing in the Gospels about marriage equality. There's not much about marriage, but certainly nothing about marriage equality. So to say that same gender love and attraction and marriage and commitment somehow opposes the gospel is just a lie. So there's that. Second of all, that when you're using the gospel as part of the canon, part of scripture, to make your arguments, you are talking about a canon of scripture where Solomon has 700 wives, 300 concubines, and a one-night stand with the Queen of Sheba. You are talking, right? And this is before Viagra, y'all. This is before Cialis. And he's got 1,000 women, whatever. This is where the Jacob has 2 wives, and they're not, it's not enough. So their servants become his sex slaves. They are enslaved people. And so now so the tribes of Israel come from 4 women. So I just get exhausted when you say, well, the Bible and the marriage and biblical marriage is, I was cute in my young days and completely uninhibited, and I don't think I ever reached 1,000. Hello. So don't talk to me about Bible and biblical values and biblical marriage. I can't stand it. Now, this pastoral approach and tolerance and welcoming for todos.
Yeah.
I guess. But whenever you say, dignity and welcome, or, you know what I mean, that you're still creating a second-class citizenship. And thank you for trying to be nice. Thank you for trying to be less exclusive. Thank you for trying to form the words that, yes, maybe we're human. I do appreciate the effort. And as long as we're ever presented as if we are somehow problematic or inferior, I can't get very excited.
Well, I give them credit because he at least took the audience to have the conversation. So,
I'm always the least generous. Right. I know. I'm always about this.
And I support what you're saying because you say it so well, and you actually this is your pulpit. I mean, like you should be able to do this better than any of us at this table. But I do hold out a little bit of hope that because he had this conversation, because they're having this dialogue, when they were saying there's so many of the wars and things happening, that they took the time to at least acknowledge that it's out there, whether they agree or they disagree, the conversation is there. So I'm going to give him a little bit of credit for that, but you trump the rest of it.
You're very gracious.
Yeah.
I'm somehow just not, I can't be.
You're closer.
Yeah, I can't be impartial.
I wrote down 2 things. I wrote, Pope Leo, I'd like my bishop's opinion. This is my bishop. And then I wrote, I still believe in the good. So kind of mirroring your thoughts, because I grew up Catholic, I lean more into kind of whatever brings me joy now, but I still attend Sunshine Cathedral every Sunday that I can. And I don't love the and but, or the however. So it feels like both sides are being played for me. But I do still believe in the good.
Well, and if Pope Leo is looking for something to do after his meeting with Father James Martin, maybe he could do something about Opus Dei douche nozzle Kevin Roberts, the Heinrich Himmler of the Heritage Foundation. Very strong Roman Catholic terror show. So yeah, maybe you could talk to him, set him straight.
You know, it's not a day at the table if Greg isn't calling someone else Hitler.
Now, let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Gregg Shapiro, and let's queer up entertainment. Lord of the Rings Heartthrobs reignite queer fantasies with Throwback pick. December marks 24 years since the Fellowship of the Ring first hit theaters and transformed its cast into instant fantasy heartthrobs. From Orlando Bloom's elven archer Legolas to Dominic Monaghan's mischievous Merry and Bill Boyd's lovable Pippin, these actors carved out a place in our imaginations, and let's be honest, in our fantasies. Over the weekend, Dominic Monaghan gave fans a gift that would make even Galadriel blush. He posted a throwback photo of himself, Bloom and Boyd, shirtless, in bed, all tangled up, with the caption, quote, "Long nights in Sydney with the boys. So tired, we missed the first act of Madame Butterfly at the Sydney Opera House. Shameful," end quote. The post sent queer internet into overdrive. Comments poured in from fans admitting they'd had this exact fantasy before, to others begging to know why this scene wasn't slipped into the extended edition of the films. And of course, the age-old question surfaced: who's the bottom? Meme warriors wasted no time. One fan paired the photo with Frodo drooling, another with Merry smoking, and more than a few reminded us that whatever happens in Lothlorien stays in Lothlorien. Others joked about jealousy from the rest of the hobbits. Whether you see it as fan service or fantasy fulfillment, the consensus is clear. The gays are here for the 18 and over edition of Lord of the Rings, and yes, we'd gladly pay the premium. For anyone who somehow missed the magic, the full trilogy, theatrical and extended cuts, is streaming now on HBO Max. We'll talk about Lord of the Cockroaches. I'm really glad to see that Orlando Bloom is finding ways to move on following his breakup with Trollop. The tension whore, Katy Perry. Good on you, Orlando.
Nobody better for that story than you.
Right.
You know, we don't rehearse with your comments, so we don't know that
It's always live.
They just
You think
flow.
and will happen. But no, I like the idea that hobbit humping may become a new fetish. I like that a lot.
Bobbing for Hobbit.
Right, that's great. So no, but
No, get serious.
Yeah, please.
Seriously, yeah.
This is a serious
Because as
conversation.
Mrs. Orlando Bloom, I would like to say about my husband I'm all for all of that. And I actually, honestly, I'm a little embarrassed. I never really thought of the others as being super sexy. I mean, there's 3 or 4 in there, but not those 2. And but now I see them differently. Like, there's something about just being in bed with Orlando Bloom that sexies you up.
Yeah,
So,
just
No
you
shirt.
saying it.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Shirtless,
oh yeah,
really.
that sounds right.
Yeah.
See the other two, unless I was a shirtless one.
I'm just happy it was the Lord of the Rings trilogy and not the Harry Potter series.
Yeah.
So yeah. When it comes to these throwback photos.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Glen Weinzimer, and let's queer up gay culture. Grindr launches AI that understands queer sexy talk. Grindr is stepping boldly into the future of queer digital connection. The company recently unveiled a sweeping artificial intelligence strategy designed to understand the way LGBTQ people actually talk. Sexy, flirty, playful, language and all. The platform, called GAI, is built in 3 layers. Foundational models come from OpenAI and Anthropic. Grindr then adds in its own architecture shaped by years of unique behavioral and conversational data. Finally, an application layer turns that technology into features for its nearly 15 million monthly active users across 190 countries and territories. With more than 100 billion chats every year, Grindr's database is unlike any others. I thought they erased this stuff. CEO George Arison explained, quote, "We are creating enduring value by combining all our proprietary AI architecture layer with our unparalleled data sets to create something truly unique. No question about it," end quote. One of the most anticipated abilities of the rollout is context. The system will be able to tell the difference between consensual, sexy banter and harmful behavior. It will also help with AI-powered message assistance, enhancing safety tools and smarter content moderation. Importantly, all of these features are opt-in and require explicit consent from users. Arison emphasized, quote, "The goal is to make Grindr more appealing overall, driving more paid subscriptions or justifying higher prices," end quote. Among the first tools are Wingman, an AI dating assistant that helps craft personalized messages, a, quote, "discover tab," to meet people outside your immediate area, and Insights, which predicts connections based on behavioral instead of just profile details. Community advocates say this focus on queer slang and sex-positive communication is long overdue. I don't know who those experts are, but there are so many things wrong with this. I mean, because I have a thing for some of this AI anyway. You're on a sex app, sex app.
We're following.
Thank you. Sex app. And I don't think it's hard enough to tell if people are scamming you to begin with on these apps, if I had ever been on one. And then here you are, someone else is writing your script, and yet you're supposed to be more authentic because someone else can read what you're thinking and describe you to someone else in a way that's going to connect the two of you. And then there's these other issues like ethical and social downsides, individual emotions being ignored, the loss of jobs in any field because of some of this AI stuff, an over-reliance on skills.
Pimps are going to go hungry.
Pimps are going to go hungry. Like
unparalleled data sets of years of research. I said, what?
I know.
Excuse me?
Like the words, it's insane what they wrote there. So anyway, I'm just like totally think this is horseshit. And I don't see...
Well, how long has it been around? How long has
Grindr
been around?
I'd have to Google that.
I would think at least 15 years, at least.
You have to ask
at least.
ChatGPT.
To me, it's like, I mean, Megan was a movie about a robot. I mean, before Megan, there was Terminator. I mean, we know what happens with these things. I mean, I wouldn't trust an AI assistant. There are people who are, I don't have ChatGPT, but there are people who are mistaking ChatGPT bots for real Kendall Jenners and random actors and actresses, and they're telling them addresses to go meet them at, and then these people are winding up missing or dead. It's a real life horror movie, and so I don't understand. Really, to be fair.
Yeah. Just like even the information that we're getting from the government and from other places that are whatever this is just called, I can't remember what we're talking about. AI generated. I mean, like false narratives that we're told are truth. You know, this is just an extension of that. You know, and like if someone's looking for a job right now and you go to GPT, again, these words,
whatever,
all these acronyms. But how can you find a job? Every resume is the same.
Superpost acronyms.
Yeah. Yes. Right. Yeah. I mean, your resume looks like everyone else. How do you stand out? You don't. Yeah. And so when someone goes, "Oh, I just send in these resumes and I can't find a job." No shit, Sherlock. Like you got to go out there and sell your personality.
Well, let me advocate for my friend the devil. The be devil's advocate for a second, just a little bit. Because I wonder though, isn't this just verse 97 of this hymn? I mean, because remember the old story of Cyrano and who would be you for you or whatever. Right. And I'm wondering if in the early days of Morse code, if there wasn't some naughty back and forth, you know. And you remember the AOL chats.
Oh yeah. I remember.
But not even that. Just like you could live with a person on AOL and all the misspelling, fick me. I mean, it was because you were doing it with one hand.
Right.
So there was. This. I just feel like
the other hand.
I just feel like this is all. You know, this is just another.
It's an evolution.
Well,
I mean,
it is. It's like
I also feel 100 years old because I met my husband the old-fashioned way in theology school. But so I don't even know how to do any of this.
I was
praying on your knees.
Well, before the chat rooms,
I met my husband in real life. Hello.
But like, think about this is part of the evolution.
Yes, it is. But there's a point where when you're no longer a person, is where the problem comes in. And it started just like when I was in elementary school and we got a calculator. Like I asked my niece and my nephew, like, what is 12 times 12? And they need a calculator.
Yeah, but
and I'm like, you're not thinking, you're not using your brain to
depending on the technology
right
there. But sorry, I don't want to interrupt you. Okay. I was just going to say, if you're already paying for something like this, and the goal is
get laid.
I want to get laid. Or you're not necessarily, and I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I don't think you're on Grindr looking for the love of your life. Correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe some people do, but maybe now this will make it easier to filter out if you're there to hook up and if you're there to make a connection.
Is that a site where people go to find the love of their life?
Well, that and...
Does that even exist? I mean...
It used to be rentmen.com. I don't know if that's still a thing.
Now it's Rent Massage.
That was the one that
I think they got in trouble. I think they got shut down for a minute.
Yeah, that was the one that I remember being
no, those were boys that got in trouble. But
yes.
There's also this commercial angle of it, too. 15 million people paying whatever it is they're paying. 190 countries. I mean, that. So I want to start my own collar chasers, maybe. A fraction of that, right? And we could have our own little symbol, and we could call it the pecker checker, or whatever. We should. I think there's a way.
I'm an official collar
I think Jesus should get in on this.
Like a little.
I wish I had a collar stay.
Measuring tool on the
Yes.
It's a ruler. It's a collar.
Right.
Yes. I think it's
are not 6 inches. I
weirdly think it's the beginning of the end of Grindr. That's kind of what I feel like. It's going to go into a place of just being too expensive or something. When kind of like P-Town a little bit. They've kind of like overpriced some of our favorite queer vacation spots.
Yes.
So I feel like that could happen with Grindr, and I love Pete. I don't want to get into that. That's a whole nother night. But yes. Everyone understood that. Don't worry.
Right.
Yes.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Eric Restivo, and let's queer up politics. Strange bedfellow as MAGA goes all in on anti-gay using gay candidates in Virginia. Virginia Republicans are putting forward one of the most paradoxical tickets in recent memory, pairing a longtime anti-LGBTQ politician with an openly gay candidate. Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears, now the GOP's nominee for governor, is running alongside John Reed, a white gay conservative radio host, seeking the lieutenant governorship. Reed's partner, Alonzo Mabel, who is black, serves on Virginia's LGBTQ+ advisory board, and this ticket is historic. Reed would be Virginia's first openly gay statewide office holder, and Earl Sears would be the first woman governor. But for LGBTQ Virginians, it's also raising eyebrows. Back in 2004, Earl Sears pledged to ban same-sex couples from adopting, oppose non-discrimination protections, and even impeach judges who, in her words, quote, legislate the homosexual agenda. Just last year, she signed Virginia's bipartisan marriage equality bill, but insisted that on the record, that she was morally opposed. Her actions speak volumes. She misgendered Senator Danica Roem during a Senate session, addressed Regent University, where policies denounce homosexuality, and she praised the Family Foundation, an organization hostile to queer rights. Meanwhile, Reed's candidacy has faced turbulence. Governor Glenn Youngkin urged him him to withdraw earlier this year over allegations he denies. Democrats are seizing on the contradiction. At an Emily's List event, Senator Ghazala Hashmi, the Democratic nominee for lieutenant governor, declared, quote, "Everybody deserves the opportunity to live with dignity and full equality. And we've got a constitutional amendment on marriage equality, and I'm confident we're going to pass it," end quote. With former Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger leading the governor's race and Hashmi on the ticket, Democrats are highlighting the possibility of Virginia's first all-female statewide leadership team. Polls are showing Spanberger leading both in votes and fundraising, leaving voters to decide if the GOP's gamble on a divided message will indeed pay off. Well, it seems like there is a lot of contradiction and back and forth and standstill going on in Virginia right now. But at the core of it all, it's hate.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, except for self-loathing homosexual Lindsey Graham, I don't think I've ever wanted a gay candidate to lose an election as much as I want John Reed to do. I mean, if you go with this Sears person, by the way, Sears is defunct. If you go with Winsome, you're going to lose some.
Yeah. And I can't think of anyone
Stay
less
up at night coming up with this shit.
I can't think of anybody less winsome than this. But I wonder though, it just seems cynical to me. It seems cynical for the party machine to use people that they are hurting to promote their own power base. And tragic for people to let themselves be used that way.
Yeah, how little self-respect does he have?
So beyond whatever you think about campaign promises or plans or platforms or whatever, I think what is most important is authenticity and integrity, and no gay candidate for that platform could have those things.
100% agree. That's all I have to say on that.
I have a feeling that will not be the last time that we hear about that story. We'll be following that one. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ and ally community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world. This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Eric Restivo, and on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Bishop Durrell Watkins, Gregg Shapiro, and Glen Weinzimer, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ world, we hope you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, be transformative, and queer. Good night.
Good night.